Oh man, what's going on is the Wolf, and we back with another episode of the Wolf Has Spoken podcast. You know what I'm saying? We ripping and rolling. We keeping it going. Indeed. Every episode is something new. Hope y'all been enjoying it up until this point. Find myself joined by the one and only Q, right on Q Live.
Yes, sir.
And we got a special guest with us today, all the way from New York.
Brooklyn, New York.
All the way from Brooklyn, New York. Excuse me.
Yes.
We got the one and only Miss Cassandra.
Yes, I'm Miss Cassandra. Hey, y'all. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
We honored to have you. I personally had the opportunity to have a talk with you. You know what I mean? We got to connect through a mutual mentee. Yep. Shout out to Mook, you know what I'm saying? Malaj, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, you can call him Malaj, I call him Mook. Yeah. He connected us, and he said it would be a dope interaction and conversation, and we was like kind of on the same wavelength. We had a Zoom call. It was dope. We got on live. It was dope. Yeah. So now we here. But before we get into it, Q, what you got for me today, man? Who is this brought to you by?
We got sponsors today, and this is brought to y'all by Step in the Name of Love. Sorry, no, not Step in the Name. We got Step in the Lab LLC, and they are the phlebotomy company, and they are offering a 4-week certified phlebotomy technician courses. Yes. And during that month course, students will learn hands-on phlebotomy knowledge, basic general phlebotomy practices, such as anatomical site selection, patient preparation, and how to respond to complications that may occur during a blood draw.
Talk about it.
Students will also learn skin punctures and venipuncture procedures and best practices, along with post-puncture care. The total cost for the 4-week certified phlebotomy technician course is
going to be in the information that we're going to have on the screen.
Fair. And overall, if you're just tired, being a home health aide, you're just tired, not even being a CNA, this is a nice first step.
I think you should turn it up. I think getting into phlebotomy, I'm not all the way educated, but I know that is something with the practice of drawing blood. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it's something that can be essential to anybody that's in the medical field. Sure. And when and this is brought to you by some black queens, you know what I'm saying? They doing a thing with it, you know what I'm saying? If you go on their page, you'll see how many people they certified, how many women and men they have helped improve and increase their income just by teaching them this. So it's one worthy investment. And I definitely think that y'all should take a look. The information is going to be on the screen. And shout out to y'all. Big shout out to them. Yeah. Step into the lab. Let's get it.
Step into the lab.
And anybody who's further interested in the future for any sponsorships or ads, definitely contact the Wolf, contact any of us,
Yeah, get with us. And we want to bring the people to you. Well, the reason I think that is important, let's just pivot it to that, is because I feel like so many people have dope things that they're doing. And if we got a platform, we can be that link on the awareness, right? Because imagine somebody who's interested in phlebotomy, but don't know a trusted source to go to be able to get the proper tools, the knowledge, the resources to develop the skill set to be able to serve. I want this to serve as a catalyst to be able to pipeline the person that need it to the person that has it and kind of act as the middleman. So if you out there and you have something that you offering and you want to get it in front of our audience, who we know and love, even if we haven't met them personally, if they like us, then we pretty much like-minded. Yeah. And we pretty much will vet you and make sure that you're doing the right practices so we're not putting our audience with just anybody.
For sure.
All in all, we feel like it's no unless.
Unless. He's like,
no unless. We want to make sure that everybody, quality. Yeah, everything, because it matters. And like I said, man, this one thing can be the turning point for somebody's life,
100%.
For their profession, for their career. And just for us to be able to provide that avenue of awareness, And
I also wanted to ask, well, because you said if they're interested in or look into it. Also, if you're not, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah,
I'm looking for a pivot or a change of course of anything, whatever. Good opportunity. You never know. It might be a good fit for you.
That's a fact.
I'll say that as well.
Indeed.
So yeah, let's get into it. How was y'all week? Let's start with Miss Cassandra. You drove all the way from Brooklyn today.
I can't even remember my week.
Damn.
Good thing or bad thing?
I about to say that dementia type of thing. Like we at the age, like we gotta act like it's like no, rebuked.
Right.
Strike that from the record.
It just be going by so fast that the weeks are just blending together. You know what I mean?
Good problem to have, I suppose. Okay.
Yeah.
I will, since we do have a great woman here today, and one of the things Wolf mentioned in the past, is a good topic, I feel would be a good time to bring it back up. You can start with Wolf. Women not taking accountability because the world isn't designed for them to do so.
Yeah.
So you want to start.
That was one of the Wolf's quotes for sure.
Yeah. So maybe you can start with that, and then maybe she could piggyback off of what she think about that statement.
Shit. But so I feel like a lot of times we talk about accountability. Of course, I wrote the book, The Art of Accountability, and we make it a thing as if like you hear it a lot. Women don't take accountability, and in context to what I was saying to Q was that it's not designed for them to have to. It's not, I like for as a man or whatever, and I'm not making this a divisive discussion, but it's like naturally it's embedded into how we are raised. Whereas though, even if you're a little boy with a little sister, it's always like, don't let nothing happen to your little sister. So like if something happens to your little sister, I'm going to be held accountable because it's my job to protect my little sister. And we kind of embody that and embrace that. Now, some men deviate from that, but at the end of the day, naturally, if you being raised by men, they're going to instill that into you. Whereas though, it's already a situation where like we're going to have more grace when there's a little girl. You know what I'm saying? Like even,
It's true.
you see what I'm saying? So with that grace, it's almost like, well, it's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? And because we design that, as they get older, it becomes a thing where even if you look at it like, if I get a woman pregnant or whatever the case may be, I gotta stand with that. Now it's up to me what type of father I decide to be. If I decide to be present or not, I can make that choice because I made the choice to lay down with her. But the moment I ejaculate, I essentially give off my rights. You know what I mean? Where though, if a woman want to or don't want to, it's her choice. So when we say the lack of accountability in that sense is like, if they don't want to be a parent, they could just be like, well, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Even if the guy's like, no, let's do this. I'm ready. It's really not. So it's like, even if they like, all right, well, anything that I feel like they don't like can be altered, changed. And it'll be, as opposed to the friends saying like, oh, you're wrong. It's almost like, girl, it ain't your fault. That's him. He should have. And it's like, that's where I feel like it's not designed because naturally the communities and the support systems are more so aligned for women to kind of feel where each other is coming from. So it's like, even if a girl blew up his house, it's like, but he broke her heart. So it's almost like it's justified in a sense. So it's like, for me, I feel like, whereas though as a man, even if my homie wrong or right, I mean, not even if I understand my homie's coming from, if he's wrong, yo, you wrong. And I feel like, I'm not saying all women don't do it, but I'm just saying it's not designed naturally. It's not, it's not it's not something where it's like in a framework of growing up as a woman in a sense. Absolutely. But yeah, you could tell me your thoughts on it and your perspective as well as in Q.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think that things have become so progressive, right? To your point, right? So back in the day, at least a woman had to mind her body count, right? Like there was there might not be accountability measures, like accountability, had double standards in certain respects,
for
right?
Sure.
So back even be like 10, 15, 20 years ago, a woman's body count, how she dressed, right? It mattered. And there was only a select few kind of women that would be like strippers or things like that would deviate. And now it's become mainstream, right? Like you could just go right on Instagram and scroll and see the Megan challenge and all these things. And so it is true. It is now, right? is now designed in such a way where even in a woman's sexuality, it's become progressive to the point where there isn't any accountability around that. So she can dress how she want to dress. And I'm not saying that anybody should be able to just touch a woman, right?
Yeah, hell no.
Right? We're not saying that. However, I believe it was Dave Chappelle who made a joke around that how would you feel if I walked around in a cop outfit, right? But you in a whole uniform. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to think that you propositioning.
Yeah.
And so it's becoming so chaotic and confusing for men because now you guys are faced with situations where you can't even pull up on a woman and say hi without that becoming seemingly a threat. And then on the other side of it, where women push the goalpost is, well, where the men at? None of the men are trying to holler at me. Yeah, because if I say something to you, you might look at me like I'm creep.
Yeah. It's a thin line between being cute and creepy.
Right.
And it's so subjective, and I don't think that women don't understand that. Like, the same action can be done by a guy, and it could be perceived totally different. Like, for instance, if a guy you like pop up to your job with flowers, oh my gosh, she's so thoughtful. This is so cute. Oh my girl, look.
Right.
If a guy you don't like pop up to your job with flowers, he's a stalker.
He's a
creep. This is the same thing happening.
Same woman.
And because men are objective, meaning like we see things logically, we see the act as like, well, the same thing occurred. But I get it. Life is subjective, but you can't think that everybody's subjective matches yours.
Absolutely.
To feel like, oh, well, he's going to know that he's a creep for doing this.
Right.
He's seeing it work for him. He thinking that's the ticket. Like, all I got to do is pop up to the job with flowers. He don't know the connection you have with the person. He just know that that's what worked. So he just mimicking what he saw. So, I always say what women is like, even when I go on a page and say no DMs. And I'd be like, yo, like imagine looking for
DM coming though.
No, but look though, imagine looking for a job and you walking past a store and it says not hiring.
Right.
And it's like they think that they blocking the fuckboys, but in reality, you blocking all potential candidates. Now, granted, I'm old school, so I'm not really going to be like, oh, I'm trying to pop in a DM. I feel like genuine connections is formed in person. But the fact of the matter is, how are you presenting yourself as saying, I'm not approachable? So if you're wondering why the right guy is not coming your way, is because he already reading the situation like this person don't want to be approached. But what should be happening is understanding the boundaries and the let me see, your criteria. That's the word I'll use. Understanding your criteria so that when you are attracting men, you can just filter out who don't deserve your time, who don't deserve a response.
But that's the thing. You cannot, one thing that people have a hard time grasping is the concept around you don't control all your consequences.
You can't.
And people get frustrated, like, what you mean I can't control my consequences? What you mean, like, because when you're engaging in intercourse, right, you can either get a baby, a STD, or all the above, right? You can get a soul tie, right? Like, all kinds of things get to happen. And so women are not understanding that because we have rejected, we're giving guys the Heisman, right, as a collective. There's a consequence to that. That consequence we do not control.
No, it's a fact.
So men making their observation and keeping it linear and logical, like men are blessed to do so, have acquiesced and say, cool, mama, I'm not fit. You come to me. I'ma just wait. I'ma just sit. And I was explaining this to someone that in hyper-professional environments, you are less likely to have a man come and approach you.
Hell yeah.
You have to go and approach this man. And women are frustrated because women are also engaging in these popular conversations around feminine energy and around drawing and attracting high-value men. And so they're sitting around, they're practicing all these tactics to get attention from men, and they're not getting it. Well, that's part of the consequence.
Yeah, and it's just part of, and Q, I still want you to tap in, but this is one thing I'm going to say because she said something that I think was key. And it's part of just not listening to the men and what we say works for us. It's like you can't have a whole focus group on how to get the attention of a man without, for once, taking into consideration what the man is saying about what
They don't want to do it.
Gauge and grasp our attention. But another aspect to it is, I feel like, just so we're clear, right? I don't think a woman has to, see, women always make the first move, right? It's just so subtle that you have to notice it. See, because I don't think a woman has to be aggressively like, yo, what's up, take me out. Like, because I think that for me, that's a turn off.
How would she say it?
Yo, what's up, take me out. Like,
She from Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm
Really?
catering to my New Yorkers right now. What's up, my nigga? Like, what we doing? But all in all, it's like one of them situations where it's like it's subtle. Like a woman that's not interested is not gonna make herself available to you.
Right.
And when you experience different women in different ways and been rejected and been accepted, you could see the difference. You're like, okay, like, for instance, like, it's just like, even with a response. Now, sometimes women try to respond to, to be nice.
Right.
But it's like, you can always kind of peep the vibe.
Right.
So in a professional, see, for me, I don't like blending. I learned my lesson way younger. I don't blend. Like, it's like, I'm not, if we in a professional settings, you would have to almost like be straight up. Well, I'm in a relationship now, but I'm just saying prior to, I would have to know that that's what you want, because we got to set the agenda. What is this?
Right.
Like, cause I'm a relationship coach and I've done marketing. I work with, so
right.
it's like, I don't know that you just booking this session to get close to me. I'm thinking you genuinely want service, and now the whole time you trying to get service.
She want service.
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to get service.
Right.
So it's like, for me, I just now, even when I'm on the other end of it,
This was a
I'm
full
straight.
service situation. Hey,
No. I'm very integral. So it's like, I take offense to somebody that would think that I would use my profession to solicit and, get women. Like, I'm not saying I can't attract women through being who I am, but that's not my intent behind it.
Right.
Like, imagine a dude that's trying to be a personal trainer that's creepy to me. I would never want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I see women in their most vulnerable spaces as a coach. You coming to me snotty nose. I'm not attracted to you in this moment. I want to help you. Like, you're a patient to me, essentially. Like, I'm not, so you don't come to me as a patient and think I'm going to want to do something with you, because I'm not, because my brain don't work like that. But what I was going to say in regards to, damn, I lost my train because whatever. But it was going to be in regards to the whole, when it's flipped and reversed, I'll set my intentions. Like, listen, like, I'm attracted to you. I don't see that affecting how my ability to do work, but I'm just letting you know, like, that, like, this is where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? I set that up front. Even so, you ain't about to bro me. No, I'm not letting you friends on me. We don't got a deal, but I don't want you to think that you're about to develop a false connection with me because I'm just enlightened to be in your presence. Like, nah, you're attractive. It ain't one of them creepy attractions where I can't focus, but I'm just letting you know I'm not your bro.
Right.
And I'm heavy on that. You know what I mean? But of course, that was prior to.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I actually like things both of you guys said, and especially when Wolf, you saying that women make the first move, they just tend to be subtle, and that kind of made me think about the whole conversation. Cause I feel like in all these gender debates now and shit like that, it's always these extreme examples and these shit like that, and
they bring out like the 0.001 chance.
Yeah, and then I always just feel like it's just endless debate with it's aimless debates with no end or whatever. And I feel like at the end of the day, even with Wolf say, yo, a guy comes to your job and he don't know that he's being creepy. Part of me is like, yes, that's true in this random hypothetical, but then part of me also feels like, you probably just a creep, nigga. And it's like you probably just a creep. Like say like women, like I've never been in a situation where it's like I did, and even you know, my logical brain kind of, you know, sometimes plays these hypotheticals. Well, no, I see what somebody like Wolf said and that and this and that. Women do be kind of this and that. Then I feel like, no, like, niggas, you know when a woman is interested, you know, like, it's kind of clear enough.
Some people can't read the room.
Yeah.
So then you a creep then. That's how I look at it or whatever. You just a creep.
I mean, you know, we do have to like, you know, because people who are viewing and watching, we do want to keep the conversation balanced to say that we acknowledge that there are people who do overstep their bounds. 100%. And unfortunately, when people hear these conversations, they want to group and clump it all in, but we can't group psychosis issues with normal circumstances and behaviors. You know what I'm saying? So we want to keep those two things separate.
And to both of y'all point, it's as simple as this. If you said, because she spoke about reading the room, and you said like a nigga should just know, like you're a creep. But imagine if you are trying to pursue a woman. A lot of men don't have self-confidence when it comes to approaching women because they don't have a lot of experience. Right. So a lot of their perspective is through propaganda. It's through what they see and what they read and what they hear. So if a man is trying to study a woman, right? Say, you know, women want to throw these hints on the internet. Oh, give me a man that do unspontaneous dates and send me flowers and and he's like, oh well, I'm a guy that does spontaneous. Maybe I should spontaneously pop up at her job with flowers because she told me that was the answers to get her attention.
Did you get her a dresser?
No, did you guys hear about the lady who went on a first date? It was on social media. It was just a post. She said that she went on a first date. She was talking to this guy. They were vibing, and she told him that she would every month like feed the homeless. And so for their first date, when they first met together and decided to hang out and everything like that, he took her on a first date to feed the homeless. And so she was really upset about it because she was like, for a first date. And for me personally, I feel like
that was thoughtful.
That was fine.
Yeah, it was thoughtful.
It was thoughtful. Yeah. Now, I will say, like, if that was my nephew, something like that, but like, all right, nephew, after that, take her out somewhere to eat now. Yeah. Don't have her eating what they was eating and serving, right?
Cold pizza is crazy.
Right, like, let's, you know what I'm saying?
Cold pizza is crazy.
Right, cold pizza is crazy, right? So I don't know the extent of the entire date, but she did speak on that piece. And so people were kind of going back and forth on it. So
I'm not mad at that one. Yeah, I can understand the perspective of the guy.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I almost feel bad. Now, granted, like that's why you gotta be confident as a man because like I do what I want to do on dates, and like I give women reserve the right to never go out with me again. At the time when I was dating, I'm not about to keep preferencing that. Everybody know I'm in a relationship. I just need to speak freely. Whatever. It's not trained. I'm just I don't know. Nah, sometimes because these clips go viral. No, this is the thing though. My clips go viral. It might be a snippet.
Exactly.
So that's why I preface it because you just never know what might make a moment. But all in all, you just got to be confident in yourself as a man and knowing like if you do your due diligence enough, you have to take the shot. You know what I mean? She gave you the chance. Now you don't see a lot of times men date from what a woman want. So they're like, where would you want to go? Or what do you want to do? And it's like, nah, bro, you got to do a step in front of that. Because when you do that, you relinquish all control over the situation. And then you're mad at where you end up at and how much you spent. No, I'm not even giving you the opportunity. We can have a conversation, and a general conversation. Oh, tell me about yourself. You telling me what you like, you don't like. I'm taking notes. Literally, I might take notes, like literally. And then after that, I'm going to decide the things that you said you like within my budget. All right, she said she's an activities type of girl. All right, let me put together. All right, I'm vicious for this. I'll give you a tip. When you in the beginner stages, all you gotta do is ask a woman to send you a list. I say 50, but that might be a little heavy for too many people. Send me a list of 20 things you never did before.
Yeah.
That's 20 date ideas. It could be, and they're like, well, to what degree? Like, what do you mean? Anything. It could be traveling. It could be regular day-to-day stuff. So now you can date based on where you at financially and work your way up. Like a trip might be on there, but you don't got to start with that. A 5-star restaurant might be on there. You don't got to start with that. She might have never had a picnic in a park or might have never went to an amusement park. Like when my girl sent me that, she had never been to Six Flags in Donny Park. Okay, bet. I know exactly where we're going. I started with where I wanted to start. So while I'm getting to know her, I'm spending what I'm comfortable with losing if it don't work out. I'm not trying to impress you, because she was more impressed at the fact that I remember her favorite color was purple than she was that we went to this restaurant. And a lot of times men overlook that because social media don't highlight that. They make it like, oh, I ain't going to what a nigga that's taking me. But it's like, shut up, just get in the car. You coming or you not?
I would say as well. Me and my man discuss this all the time. Where because he's single, I'm not, whatever. So he's also into these type of topics all the time and this and that, whatever. And I always say, like, I feel part of the issue that men have when they like they're frustrated with these glass ceilings of conversation is that we view the whole dating world as a macro thing, and I naturally look at it as just like case by case. I don't care to say
facts.
Women are just doing this and women da da da. I was like, no, like literally. I only care about women I come across that I'm attracted to me, and we bond. And then let's see where this goes. I don't even care that how many women just want to do a 5-star restaurant for the first 5 days, and I need you to pay my bills on the second day. It's like, cool, that shit don't even enter my matrix. Don't exist to me, whatever.
It doesn't exist.
So I feel like I would also say for men, like, fuck all that shit. Who cares? Who cares? Like how many women aren't compatible? Because also I think that's me as well. Because we speak about confidence and being comfortable who you are. I don't care if I'm not how many people I'm not compatible with.
No, that's a fact.
I only care about the people I come across that I am compatible with. Yeah. Friends or romantic. So it's like the rest of that shit can just go. I don't
have nothing to do with us.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
you only got to get it right once.
Exactly.
And you might take a couple failed attempts to get that once. But that's the thing. Like you said, people looking at it at a macro level. That was a perfect way to break it down. People are looking at it as if the whole dating scene has to fit them. And like, no,
and it won't.
And if I'm not a prospect for you, you're just not a prospect for me. That's fine. And that's why it's funny
we don't
because
need to unpack it. We don't need
Right.
Nothing to unpack.
Don't troubleshoot it. No, seriously.
And I think that so many discussions are filled with people making a statement of what they prefer, and then people trying to condemn and ridicule and just actively speaking blasphemous on a situation because they don't see it the way they do. And like you just said, it really just okay.
Yeah, I need you to do this on my first date. Oh, that doesn't fit me. Oh, I'm not gonna be mad at you about that. Like, I ain't going to counter you. So, like, cool. Like,
and a lot of times people are playing with it. The dating time is to collect data.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the time to have the most uncomfortable conversations. And I feel like people really are so lonely that they go out dating to just be entertained.
No, that's a fact.
And now you got this person entering inside of your heart space, and now your judgment is clouded because you did not vet them nor verify.
Facts.
Right? So somebody might say something like, well, I'm a very okay, we snapping, right? So I might date somebody who might say that he's frugal, but to me, my interpretation is that he's stingy. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? So that's my responsibility to vet and verify if what he's saying is how I'm interpreting, not whether or not he's telling the truth or not, because that's his perspective. But do I interpret his character the way that he sees himself? If I don't see a man the way that he sees himself in all of his glory, and that's not my man. Yeah. You know, and that's not, and I think what happens is that, to your point, in the macro levels, that they end up saying, well, if you're a man, you're supposed to do this. If you're a woman, you're supposed to do that. And it's just like, no, we need to take care of things on a micro level, on a case-by-case basis, and accept things at face value by dating intentionally and vetting and verifying.
And vet and verify yourself, because coming into those situations, like, I literally had to know. I was very intentional for years before I ended up in a relationship. Like, I even had a short-term relationship that I thought was going to be a long-term relationship, a bunch of dating experiences that I intended to be long-term because I was going through so much of the process of knowing what I wanted, what I didn't want, and also you got to know what you want to give and what you don't have to give. And I feel like until you go through that self-evaluation process at the highest level and at the lowest level, like, you want to know, because it literally is like a Google search, right? That's how I look at when the more you know, the closer you get to your results faster. If you just go on Google right now and say, I'm looking for a hospital, it might give you 100,000 options. But then if you say, I'm looking for a hospital in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? That shrinks the margin tremendously. So the more you know what you want in a woman, you don't even have to waste time vetting, because the screening process already did that. You know what I mean? So I think that even for same thing for women is like, I know it's a little bit more different because men can present certain, well, both people present shit that's not them. But men, for the most part, we can still see through a lot of what's presented to us. But all in all, man, like, when you're doing that process, I show up on a date, I can be entertained, but I already have enough data within myself that I know that this is just the last date.
Right.
And I'm not leaving mad or nothing. It's not like...
Oh, so you're not leaving here with something?
No, It's cool. Because sometimes it costs for data. Like I do marketing for a living. Like I pay for leads. I pay for awareness. I pay to know shit.
Yeah.
You would pay for a course but won't pay for a date. That don't make sense. You getting information on the person. When you are picking the person that you are potentially planning to spend the rest of your life with, that's not a rushing process, and it's worth money.
Yes,
like it's not a free process. So it's not about what the date costs you. It's about what you gain from what you leave with.
Yes.
And most people go to a date looking to leave with sex. Most men essentially,
right.
And most women go to looking to leave with a full stomach and IG content.
Correct.
So it's like once they get that, they like or don't get that, they feel like this was a wasted date. But it's like, nah. At the end of the day, I came here with the intent to get to know you, and it costed me $80 to do so or $380 to do so. Regardless, this is an investment, and I'm investing into my future. And like I keep saying to the men, the 3 most important decisions you're gonna make is what you do for a living, it's your purpose, who you hang around, that's your accountability, that's your environment, and who you lay next to.
That's right.
Those 3 things make up your life and your importance. If you're not willing to invest in learning if this person is for you or not, then you never gonna find somebody. You're gonna always find short-lived experiences, and you're gonna just end up with a bunch of, you're gonna get some pussy, but you're never gonna get a partner.
And I would say the word you said to piggyback off is intent. Like we always talk about time, like being intentional. I think a lot of people, man or woman, the issue is they aren't being intentional with what they want. Whether my intention is I'm just single, so I'm just doing whatever, situationships, personals, whatever. Cool. Don't be playing with people. Don't be lying to them and saying, "Oh, I love you" in relation. No, you're not being intentional. That's when shit get complicated.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But if you're trying to date, all right, cool. I'm trying to date. I think this person is. I want to take the person seriously. I love this person. Cool. Do what it takes to be intentional about the results you want to see. Whatever.
If you're
doing it in either one of those arenas, then what else happens should be fine. You should be good.
Right. If we gave ourselves 6 months for that dating period before we know if I'm going to be exclusive, the landscape of dating would be completely different.
That was literally the time frame. Like I met my girl in 2022 at an event, at a comedy show. She walked up to me. She was like, I be seeing your stuff on Instagram. I'm like, you want a picture? She was like, no. I would just let you know, like, I like your content. I was like, all right, because it was weird, because it was like an awkward silence. So I'm like, well, you want a picture?
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be Hollywood or nothing. So I'm like, well, what you want? She was like, oh no, I just want to tell you whatever. I'm like, all right, then I appreciate it. And we didn't connect immediately. I got her Instagram, and I probably wrote her like later that night, like, yo, what y'all about to do? She's like, I'm going home. Like, all right, whatever, cool. I let it time be time. But I was slowly starting to drop little subtle hints, because she made the first move. She walked up to me. But I'm just commenting on little stories. She making food or something. Oh, I'm not the boy, make me a plate. But I might just, like, I don't know, acknowledge it. Do something just to, spark interest. I don't even know how we even got exchanged numbers or whatever the case may be. But that was like a 6-month window of me even like planting seeds. Then in December of 2022, we had went to the movies. It was like a spontaneous thing. She called me, as a matter of fact, and I was like, "Yo, girls don't just call niggas." Like, so that's the second, because I was still like single, but trying to figure out what I wanted, and I just came off of a fast. So we ended up meeting at the movies, and then I just felt something, but we still ain't jump out there. So we just started slow walking it. 6 months later, and then I'm like, all right, she been at my crib every day. I done been around her kids. She done been around my kids. Everybody calling this my girl. You got to ask yourself, why not?
Yep.
And I look at it like, it's like phases, right? Because you date to get in a relationship. You get in a relationship to get married. You don't date to get married.
Right.
You can't get married without getting in a relationship.
Right.
So we in a relationship phase, and we just hit a year. We still working. Like, you got to work towards that next level. So when you say, if everybody took that stenciled approach or that framework of being like, you know what, I'm going to give it X amount of time, and our shit got accelerated just because of life was just happening. Like, we ended up moving together faster than we would even intended to, but circumstances was just pushing us closer and closer. And then next thing you know, you realize that it's out of your control. Like, this shit have just happened, and I ain't about to try to control the pace of it.
Yeah,
and
that's beautiful.
Always reserve the right to know that it's still data. Even if you get into a 5-year relationship, you still collect enough info about you and that person. If you don't feel like it was a waste. What happens is people get out of the relationship and throw everything they learned away because they feel like it didn't last forever. I don't get into a relationship for it to last forever. I get into a relationship for it to last as long as it's supposed to. For it to go as high and as far as it's supposed to. And people got to, this is one thing before I pass it back. I care about the experience I give off. Like, people have to understand, like, when you are dealing with somebody, they're experiencing you.
That's a fact.
What is the point of being reserved? Like, if you go to your favorite restaurant, do you want them to be like, oh, this chef don't come in on Wednesdays. This chef only coming for these type of clients. This chef only fuck with this. It's like, that's what y'all essentially doing. Y'all saying that y'all only going to reveal certain parts of yourself out of fear of being hurt.
That's crazy.
But you really only hurting yourself because you self-sabotaging, because you don't know what you can unlock by just completely being yourself with discernment. Like, it's not saying just be out here doing stupid shit. It's just basically saying, like, I'm going to give you the full version of me that I'm able to present within the capacity and the scope of where we at. The full dating experience, the full relationship experience. And then if it becomes the marriage, the full husband mode experience. Not like, oh, well, I'm in a relationship, but I'm still acting like we dating. It's like, nah, like, you got to graduate within it. And know that people are experiencing you. What do you want your review on Yelp to be? Like, what do you want people to, when they walk away, what do you want them to say about you? And that's how you should go into a situation, not by who they are. You got to go by who you are.
Don't be sad that it ended. Be happy that it happened. And I always think about that as well. It's all about experience.
Sad that it, say that one more time.
Don't be sad that it ended. Be happy that it happened.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. That's
absolutely.
good.
But that kind of made me think of another slight pivot. I'll let you start, Miss. What do you think? Because you said your Yelp review. So what do you think is the worst things people may say about you, whether friends or romantic partners?
Myself?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I would say analytical.
You're too analytical?
Okay. I'm very analytical.
Can you name an example?
Oh my goodness.
Nigga, she reading you right now.
Right. I mean, you know, I'm a little bit so I'm a social scientist.
Okay.
So, and I've been doing this since 2006. So studying human behavior. So it has its pros and its cons. And so what I would say is the reason why it can be frustrating for people is because when you're not used to being seen, it can be uncomfortable to be seen.
Sure.
And I'm gonna see you.
Oh my gosh. And
I'm gonna see you.
Ooh, you know how many
You can't hide.
That's why I explain that. That's why I'm so like huge on just transparency.
Yeah.
Because I see you, and it's like people, like you said, people, especially when they're not ready to be seen or when they don't see themselves.
Right.
And that's a process that if you as somebody that studies behavioral patterns and activity, and like, if you not conscious of their awareness to self, and you reveal something to them faster than they're ready to see it, they're gonna hate you.
It's damage.
It happens so many times in situations. And one of my homies gave me a great example. He was in the Air Force or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not versed in that. But long story short, he was saying, like, he was describing me. He said, yo, well, what you tend to do is, he was saying the same thing. You see people before they see themselves. But not only that, you will bring them into awareness. Like, imagine somebody got some fucked up shit with them, and you're not presenting that's fucked up, but to them it's fucked up.
Right.
And they have masked it for so long that they don't even know this shit exists, and you see it within the first encounter. Like, and you just genuinely asking and concern or trying to bring it to their awareness because you want to make them better. He was like, it's this process when people dive deep, go scuba diving deep down hundreds of meters into the water. When they come back up, their body be inflated, like, because of all of the pressure and stuff. And the only way to save their life is to puncture them and release the water, the air, and all of that. He said it hurt like hell, but it's the only way to save their life.
Right.
So they go into it knowing that. He was like, that's basically the process of what I do. Like, people don't know that what I'm doing is going to help them immediately because it hurt like hell.
It hurts like hell.
But after the pain subside, they can come back and be like, damn, like, that what he said actually helped and changed my life. So let me know if that's like your experience.
Yeah, they do. I mean, one of the things that I learned when I was being trained in psych and counseling is whatever somebody's defense mechanisms are and ego mechanisms are, do not change it unless you have something to replace it with. And so what I would usually do is I would strip a person down because it's my genuine intention to understand you, to get to know you. And I'm also trained not in what is said, but what's not said.
Facts.
So I understand those silent moments, those quiet moments, and then I'm intuitive. So I'm a woman, right? So I'm picking up inferences and everything, right? Because as a woman, as a weaker vessel, you're always searching for where you're safe. So it's on automatic. So you couple all those things.
As a weaker vessel?
So the Bible talks about the woman being a weaker vessel. So that's how I kind of phrase it. But which, you know, we're delicate. You know what I'm saying? We're delicate beings. And so we are constantly checking to see, like, am I safe or whatever, what have you. So couple all that together, right? I'm intuitive, I'm a woman, I'm a social scientist, right? So, and I'm analytical, right? Put those all things combined, and I can make somebody unintentionally feel like they're a science project.
Yeah, big on unintentionally. So where's the fun? Like, do they be like do you turn it off?
So I can turn it off, and you know, I have like my select core few people that see me when I'm ratchet, potty mouth, you know, uncouth. you know, just bigotry all over the place. Like, they're like,
Bigotry.
damn.
Uncool bigotry. She was just gonna fuck into the dictionary.
All right, Trump.
Right. No, absolutely, 100%. And they appreciate that and they love that. But because of what I do, you understand, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when you
100%.
when you're public facing, you can't like. It's not because you have an ego. It's because it's to protect the masses.
Yeah, because exactly, and people, it's like weird. It's like this sense of people are always waiting for that moment to
Of
catch
course.
you in that. But it's like I strip that because I'm everything. I'm a fucking human. So it's like
Right.
I'm going to be, because I was going through the where I always say we become a prisoner to our platform.
Right.
You know what
well,
I mean?
it's not just a matter of like people waiting for you to fall per se. It's kind of like if me and you are candid, there's no cameras, there's no mics, there's no nothing. I might talk about women in a certain way or men in a certain way that would be irresponsible to say that publicly.
Damn, so you just made me feel not wrong in certain situations, because I always supposed to say I don't like filtering myself, but naturally I would put it in a more digestible way.
It's a must.
I'm putting it, making it digestible, because I remember when I was like free form with everything,
Right.
like, man, fuck this, fuck that, and it was like
Right.
it would get more attention, but a lot of it would be misunderstanding.
Exactly.
And now I just like, you know what? I'm gonna make this subjective and objective enough
Right.
for you to be able to make of it what you need for it to make sense for you.
As best as you can.
As best you can.
Right, because we can't control all factors.
What they gonna say about you before you go to your next question? I see you trying to get away from it. I know him.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
He said, I see you.
Well, people will say the worst thing they will say about me is you know, saying you good?
Ricky know that you about to say that nobody has nothing bad to say about him.
He good? I was going to say things we already discussed before. That you know, I have empathy issues.
Really?
You can't tell? My boy don't have one empathetic bone in his body.
Empathy issues, not, you know,
Say, let me
it's
say-
not
Let's
non-existent.
say challenges.
I like
Challenge.
that.
Yeah, that's my favorite
Challenges.
word. Yeah, challenges.
And other than that, like, you know, I could be you know, a little bit cold with reactions to things. Like, you know, with
Were you in the military?
no.
Is it the fatigue?
No.
Is it the camos giving them up?
No, because normally people who are in that
shell-shocked.
front line, right? The front line people, they see so much chaos
Yeah.
that they
'Cause
get.
I remember when I was numb because of my background. I remember being numb, and now I'm super empathetic because of coming to realization of how fucked up shit really be. It's like,
Right.
Damn, I really feel that
I
shit.
would compare Afghanistan to my mom.
Oh wow!
You know, because like, so
Is she gonna see this?
she watches everything. So,
Shout out to you, Mom. You raised a fine young man.
I'm truly battle tested from
Okay.
life from Lena. So
Wow, I
in-
put
in
her
a
name out there.
sense-
Damn right.
Not only did he name that, I tried to soften a little. You raised a fine young
But to
man.
me,
He just
you
dropped
know,
another
I love
bomb.
about, you know, I feel it was worth. It was needed. So
Okay.
you know, that's my PTSD.
Got you.
But no, to kind of circle back, so I think that what people might say, you know, I could be a little cold to reactions of things certain times, whatever, like the forgiveness topic we had,
Yeah.
whatever, and then the empathy thing. Even though all my loved ones, I am genuine to all my loved ones, I care about everybody, so I feel I have a good balance of it. But
Okay.
to think about the part where you said, shit,
It'll come back to you.
yeah, but
I can save you.
So
right
are
here.
are you just heady? Are you just logical? Is that what it is?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can, and it's hard for me to truly, as Wolf has said in the past, hard for me to truly put myself in other people's shoes. If I can't see myself ever react in a way, it's hard for me to really receive you reacting a certain way.
Got it.
Yeah. So I came up with a concept that helps when we talk about 10 and 2s. It's like something that might be a 2 to you could be a 10 to somebody else. And it's not for you to understand their 10s.
Right.
It's for you to understand your 10s. And that's how you attach the emotion to
Right.
it. Because if it makes you mad, you don't got to, it don't have to be the same activity.
Exactly.
You just need to understand what infuriates you or what
Correct.
makes you sad, and then attach that emotion
Yes.
to the person that you're trying to relate to.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, because it's like I can't relate to what might make a woman upset. And it's like
Right.
you said about your intuition that I want to comment on. But before we do that, I want to say for me, so I think that what people might say a lot of has changed. Like when I was younger, I know that like I've always heard that, like, because it's like the same thing you hear that baby bad could be good in another setting, right? So it's like, he wanna run everything, but that's what make me a leader, or
That
you know.
part.
So it's like certain things, like, but now I don't hear those things. So if I don't know, I be wanting to know. I'm gonna be real, because I be like I'm not fucking perfect. So like I even tell my girl, tell me about myself, like I want that, because I'm so big on personal development. My therapist always like point that out. She's like, you want to do the work, so that's why you always looking for somebody to like tell you if it's things that you can improve. So I can't even say honestly, consciously, because I haven't been hearing a
have to
lot
be
of
your
it.
way?
You said what?
Do things have to be your way? Would that be one?
I don't.
My
think
girl
it's
said
dead.
that before, but when we got contextually with it, it was just like, well, that's a part of being a leader. So like, it kind of do have to go like that. But outside of that, like, nah, I don't feel like that. But because I'm a visionary and I have a vision, I started to demand that because I used to compromise a lot on what I knew was right. Like what I mean is visualize it. We can all be in here and I can know I want that camera right there, but I'm trying to be a team player. So I'm like, well, Cassandra, what do you think?
Right.
And you're like, well, we should put it over there. And I'm like, it's probably best over here for us all to have our own
Right.
angle. I just started to be more
Inclusive.
yeah, I started to be more inclusive, but that wasn't always good. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just pays to just be like, you know what? I know what we're doing, just trust me. And just take the heat if it don't. And I'm cool with that. If it fall, I'm good with that. I can live with it.
Is words of affirmation one of your love languages? Have you taken the quiz?
No, but I'm gonna tell you why I haven't. Because I feel like all of them. I've read a lot of it,
Right.
but I've never taken the quiz. But I feel like all of it to some degree applies to all of us, just depending on what season you're in. Like I want
That's
all
a
that
fact.
shit. So I feel like trying to narrow down a love language to
That's a
me,
fact.
like philosophically it makes sense, but
Right.
literally I just don't see it being just, oh, words of affirmation or gift giving. Cause like, no, I want to do all that shit for different people.
Right.
Like it might, from my mom, it might be words of affirmation. I might need her to pour into me a certain way,
Right.
you know, but from my woman, I might be a gift giver. So it's like,
Right.
it just depends on a situation. But what I will say about words of affirmation, I don't even know. Like,
Because
I don't even know.
typically speaking, from what I've observed, a lot of men who are leaders do appreciate that will come up as one of their tops.
So is words of affirmation appreciation in like the same family?
I think that the leader mindset has like a 360 understanding of wants to know of all parts of what's going on.
Yeah.
And the only way to truly receive those inferences is if you get that feedback.
100%.
So I think that the way that words of affirmation occurs to the leader, as opposed to maybe say like a woman that's just in her feminine, is that he's just looking to see if he's on target.
Oh yeah. I can say that because that's like that. That's me. That's why I always, you know what I'm saying? It's like that connection. Just
Correct.
making sure that, like you said, I'm on
Because
target.
then how would you lead if they
Exactly.
if you ain't got no followers, then
What
you're
it-
not
ex-
you're not able
exactly.
to establish in the shoes that you intend to stand in, which is leadership.
Exactly. So I guess like some of the things for me, I don't know. I just one of those situations where the moment something come up and it's presented, and like granted, I'm not sensitive to what's said. Like I'm reacting to everything. Oh, I gotta change that because I'm not about to let somebody control me with their opinion on me. Some shit I know me enough to know who don't know me. But when it comes from a place where you might know something that I did not realize about myself, I want that. Like,
Right.
oh shit, I ain't realize. Now, granted, it's some shit ain't worth working on. Like, it's like if I play basketball, I don't have a right hand. Hey, but you can't stop his left. And Ricky could discover that. Me and Ricky
Right.
played ball together. He could discover that in 3 drives. Yo, damn, you went left every time. Yep. And I'm not about to work on my right because that's not what I need to succeed in this area.
Right.
So it's just about being discerning enough to know, like, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. As long as my strengths is better than whatever you trying to do,
That's a fact.
we cool. But how that translates into life is just like, no, I really do like doing the self-work. So I really do seek out. That's why I got a therapist. That's why I got a counselor. That's why I tell my girl, like, you the closest person to me. Like, do not let me walk out with shit on my face. Now that's a theoretically speaking, but it's just like
Right.
one of the situations where it's like,
We don't know what you get into.
get the fuck out of here. We won't get into that.
No judgment zone. So
Yeah, no, that's a judgment zone. We don't get into that. But all in all, it is one of them situations where it's like, nah, just like, and that's what I've been having to explain to her. Like, I would never tear you down unless it's with the intent to renovate you. And what I mean by that is if you have some fucked up ways, I'm going to keep pointing them out to you.
Right.
Because it's not affecting me, it's affecting you.
Right.
And because I want to see you better, it's my job and my duty because you don't want to be next to a man that won't.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm not here to adhere to how you feel because we
Right.
doing something long term. So every day is not going to be fucking peaches and cream.
Right.
We might go 24 hours without speaking after some shit I'm going to say, but I'm going to make sure that my tone is appropriate, my delivery is right, and most importantly, my intentions is there. You know what I mean? And I think that if you can't appreciate that, then you don't want a man to help you grow.
Absolutely.
You want a man to keep you the same or feed your ego.
So how's that tie? Walk me through. I don't think I picked up on like how that ties into like what people say is like.
I just pivoted.
Oh, okay.
So I was just thinking because you used to the leader thing, and I started just thinking about my personal development, and then I started to pivot into me trying to make others better. Yeah. But I don't know. I just was saying like I yearn for that. I yearn for somebody to be like, yo, you know. And now, granted, it just comes from their intention, but
Right.
that's probably the only thing I can say that. I don't know. I do like being the first. I do like being in control though.
He's just perfect.
But not no, because I'm just aware. So it's like if I notice something before I'm on my way here and I work on it, it's kind of a challenge to say that it's still a problem. Cause I'm a solution minded person. So I'm not perfect. It's just like if you point out something, even when we acknowledge accountability and me being late, I didn't make an excuse. I didn't fight. I feel like people make their accountability longer than it got to be.
Right.
Just take accountability and just fix the shit. Like, I don't want to sit in the sorrows of my mistakes. I'm going to fix it. If it's fixable and if it's not, I'm going to do what I can to try to rectify it or be better moving forward. So it's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. And when you're aware, you can fix the shit that's wrong about you, and you cannot do things that might affect others. That shit really is simple. So all the shit I used to do, like I told you, people ain't fuck with Nasty now. I don't know. Like, people ain't fuck with him. But the Wolf, you know what I'm saying? That's not my prior name. The Wolf is like, I'm a different person. So it's kind of a challenge to see, like, oh yeah, they don't fuck with you because of this. Right. But I am a debater though. People will say that
one of them niggas. But but I do remember the segue, because when you had a great point about making people make them see themselves before they're ready to. And I was thinking about in general where a lot of people, and I feel like social media cliche has like heightened it and amplified it, where a lot of people genuinely and generally aren't comfortable with themselves or even know themselves in the first place, whatever. So, you know, one of you or all of us can speak on just the fact, the idea of being unapologetically yourself, and or in the past having identity issues or, you know, things to break through, whatever. So, you know, speak on that. You know, any thoughts?
I got something brief, because it's funny, because as I was sitting here processing, I was thinking about that. I'm like, yo, still thinking about what people would say. I'm like, and then you got to take into account how much shit is subjective and just how they interpret you and how they receive you based on their experiences. So when you talk about unapologetically being yourself, people will have shit to say about you. Like, if people can't use you the way they want to use you, they'll say, oh, this person is, I just think you get told, oh, you selfish, you hard-headed, you this, you that. But it's like, nah, you really just want me to expand my boundaries in a way that they just don't open up for. Right. And it's like, you got to be able to be comfortable within yourself to know that everybody not going to be your cup of tea, and you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's cool. Right. You know, it's like, it's literally Democrats and Republicans for a reason. It's literally left wing and right wing for a reason. So it's like finding your tribe. That don't mean you go around people that don't hold you accountable. It just means that you go around people that see the world that you see it. Because the way perspective works, it could be a 6 or a 9, depending on how you're looking at it. I'm not arguing with somebody who see a 6 if I see a 9, and vice versa. Right. It's just, we just don't see it the same way. And as long as within your intent, you're not deliberately doing some fuck shit. Exactly. You got to be able to live with yourself.
And you wouldn't know this, but you know, part of the theme of the show is him trying to give me some work to do to.
I'm gonna make you cry. Just say it what it is. I'm gonna make you cry eventually.
Well, he'll really learn over time, and it'll be crystallized that I'm truly unapologetically myself, whatever. And I'm unpacked. I'm aligned. You know, we're good. We're good over here, whatever. And you know, when you say when people, it's all about perspective. Anytime, like my girl in the past, she say, "Yo, you being stubborn right now." It's like, but you trying to make me admit I'm being stubborn is being stubborn. And I feel like the idea of how people view you, or, you know, skew the perception of you, or try to project things onto you, it can often just be not just the facts, just your perspective. 100%. Now, again, people are assholes. People do have ill intentions, but a lot of times it's just like, yo, this is just this person, and as long as their intentions is pure and good, and all right, cool, we're really talking about whatever.
It goes. Kind of goes back to like the whole. I hate to bring up Dave Chappelle again, but he has some really good skits.
No. He's
a GOAT sociologist. Yeah.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Yo, remember that?
Yeah, right?
On the Chappelle
and
show.
it kind of just, we have to think. That's why I said again, like, it goes back to consequences. We cannot always control those. So part of being in a relationship requires you to have some openness and some flexibility. So, you know, your ability to like maintain a relationship and grow a relationship is also not going to be only dependent on you being yourself, but also being flexible within the bounds of yourself. Yeah. And you got to give a little bit, you know, you got to bend a little bit. And I find like, even like on social media, there are just a lot of people who are unhinged. I think I missed something. What happened?
I said pause.
Oh. Right? Like, people on social media are unhinged. Like, they just want to be so real and so raw and so in your face that they cross the bounds of being community oriented, and they go into disrespect. Right? They go into disrespect. They say nasty, rude things. We have women who are on social media who are, again, doing the whole butt shaking thing or whatever. Listen, I will rewatch Megan Thee Stallion doing her thing 100 times. I contribute to the views too. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes in the back of my mind, I saw your name in I saw her.
Ask Miss Cassandra and others.
Right. But at the same time, I do think about the younger ladies who, you know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot confine everything, who are being exposed to this and are thinking like, this is the way that I'm going to get attention, right? Because we have to understand the psyche of a woman, right? We're going back to the whole thing around having empathy, seeing things from their eyes. And the thing that men don't really understand or appreciate about the feminine is that she is craving connection. She is craving attention. And sometimes men will vilify that. as opposed to accepting it. Oh, she just want attention. Yes, that is the makeup of part of being feminine.
Yeah, like they should mold it more
Right.
so, like them, like you said, vilify it.
Right. It's not something. It's kind of like saying, like, for you to say, like, I like to be in control. Somebody can hear that and they see that as a negative. I hear that and I know where you're coming from, right?
Yeah.
And it can get to extremes. But what happens is that when you have a group of young women who are impressionable and they see the woman that looks like Megan getting flued out, but men are screaming for modesty, but you're giving attention.
100%.
You feel what I'm saying?
It's like
so
but it's like, again, so this is so. Was you still speaking? Because I want to
go for it.
So there's a lot of what you said, right? Going back to even when we think about perspective, like, is the difference between being in control and being controlling? Because if the house is on fire, a woman will want a man that's in control of the
100%.
situation. Controlling is me just saying, like, yo, you can't be you. Be what I want you to be, right?
Right, yes.
So I'm completely against being controlling.
Right.
Even within the scope of this podcast, it's like everyone has the freedom to say and do as they please. You know, we're just in control of the production with time, how we set up, whatever the case may be. But I'm not about to put filters on anybody, right? So that's just like the difference in that dynamic. But it was something that you said that was extremely key, and I don't want to people to overlook the impressionableness of children in general. Because, you know, it's just the expectations of the young women, but it's also the expectations of the man. So that becomes what he's expecting to see. So it goes from, you know, even when they condemn it, they still become so subconsciously turned on by it, and it's like they start to look for and search and seek that. But what I was gonna say is, a lot of people are neglecting their duty. And that's the part. It's like, you know, like, it's like, yeah, we want attention, you know, as much as men want respect. But we have a duty to get that and filter it a certain way. Same way you said it'd be irresponsible for us to speak to a certain subject without framing it a certain way. You got to understand that in the way you carry yourself. It's not about the attention you get. It's about the presentation you present to the person that might be looking up to you and that's coming after you. So it's like, I get it. That's that instant gratification. I want the immediate reward of ours, but men don't function off attention. We function off respect. And what I mean is, like, a woman want our attention when reality they should be seeking our respect, because we protect what we respect.
Absolutely.
We love what we respect.
Absolutely.
When we respect what we love, the shit we give attention can be as mundane as anything, as an ass being shaken in our face. And of course, because women want to play on that sensory factor of a man, which is our need to hunt, right? It's like, yeah, I want to conquer you. Of course, you got that. Of course, like, that's my nature, as well as in your nature to want to find comfort and safety and security. It's my nature to want to go out and have adventure. So if you present yourself as an adventure, I'm not going to find safety and security in you or provided for you, because this is an adventure. It's not supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be fun. So yeah, that could give a man. Even when we talk about, they say men don't have self-discipline. It's the most dumbest shit ever, and I explain to you why, right? Because I would say that people don't have self-discipline in certain areas, but when women highlight us being over sexual in certain areas and wanting to, you know, get to that and say we don't have self-discipline, no, y'all just don't care about it like we do. But if we put y'all in a mall with an endless credit card with a, you know, a black card at Amex, so we're going to see how much self-discipline you have. You know, we're going to see how you have impulse control. The difference is, sex, they don't take what it takes us to get sex and what it takes y'all to get sex is not the same. So of course I don't want something that's easy to me that I can just do. If a woman just want to get fucked, she can find any nigga in the world that's willing to fuck her and just give him some pussy, and it'll be higher numbers than a man saying he wants to get it. So because of what the process of what we have to go through to get sex, is typically why men feel rewarded in a sense. Whereas the woman having sex with 100 men, why would she feel rewarded? She'll more so feel degraded. You know what I mean? So even when we think about that attention factor, like, you're attracting 100 men that want to fuck you, and then you feel degraded because these men are here to degrade you. If you want to get the attention of a man, you do be modest, and I'm not saying, when I say modest, it's just more so knowing who you are. If that's who you are, be who you are. We gonna respect that.
Take whatever comes with it.
Take what comes. That's the consequence.
But we also operate off of a reward system.
I think humans do.
Exactly. Just bar none, right? Human functioning, two things, right? We have a resistance to change, and then we operate off of reward systems. And the reality is that a lot of men are contributing to the problem that they say that they do not want, right?
But, large. I agree. But it's like, again, that's those men are, because that's what they want. Look at it like this. A man that wants to fuck you fast don't want you to have boundaries. He don't want you to have morals. He don't want you to have standards. It's a world of them. And then there's the other side of the men who are the ones speaking against it.
Some of them are saying the same thing.
No, this is what they're saying. I will fuck her. I won't marry her. It's not the same thing. The stance remains the same amongst men. Okay, we're not dealing with that seriously. But because of the a male nature to hunt, again, that's like giving a woman your credit card and not telling her to budget.
Right.
And expecting her to respect the limit.
Yeah.
No, our impulse control is different. A man can be as frugal and get called stingy as he wants, as a woman can be called an uptight bitch for not giving up some pussy.
Right.
No, the self-control comes in, I don't want to spend my money.
Right.
You want to spend my money.
Exactly.
You don't want to open up your legs. I want you to open up your legs. Right. So it's that exchange, and this is where we go to the 10 and 2. Sex might be a 2 in regards to the connection to a man, but it's a 10 to a woman. Whereas though in reverse, the whole wanting to be provided for could be a 2 for a man, but a 10 for a woman. Like a man might be like, I ain't giving that bitch nothing. Excuse my language, but I'm talking how these niggas talk. I ain't giving that bitch nothing. And a woman like, yo, where the men that do this? It's like, nah, you're operating to his 2. But it's also a man out here that's looking for the woman that values his 10 and he value her 10. But that's never the argument.
Right.
We don't argue about that type of stuff because we could agree.
Right.
So when you say we contribute to the reward, no, what Q was saying, we just don't say nothing. It's like, I'm not about to argue with the woman that want to shake her ass. Shake your ass. That's only between you and your audience.
Silence is agreement.
I agree. No, so it's the difference, right? It's a difference. It's only agreement if something is being done wrong and you got the ability to stop it and you say nothing. It's not agreement when you're respecting somebody's preference. I don't have to agree with you to respect your preference.
There's a fine line, right? So we're not going to say to somebody who has a large platform, like, we get it, sex sells, you're selling something. However, what I am going to say is, like, for me as a woman, right? I'm going to speak to young ladies and tell them what the real is, right? So consider this, right? A young impressionable girl, she's watching, right? And she is in her primal level, right? So we're not talking about being educated. We're not talking about any of that. Just primal instinct. Is making an observation that women that shake their tail feather get a lot of attention. They get flued out. They get this, they get that. They get the house, they get the car. They get all this provision. And in her mind is skewing that data to say, okay, this is what I need to model if I want to be provided for, right? Not understanding that the context of relationship and connection is absent.
Yeah.
So some of these women who do that, they're fine if the nigga don't really want her.
Yeah, 100%.
They just want the stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
But the young lady who's impressionable, she doesn't understand that that's void of connection.
Yeah, I agree.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that where we disconnected in that particular thing is, no, like, that's what our platforms is for. I don't have to denounce something. All I have to do is promote what I promote.
The positivity,
so
totally.
Me acting aware, why would I send 500,000 people, reach to that particular topic trying to denounce it when, like you said, this person chose their fate. All I can do is fight against it by promoting positively 100%. How you should carry yourself. So it's not being silent. It's definitely not silence. It's redirecting the attention. It's saying, yo, look, I get, that you watch a lot of this, but if you really want the respect of a man, this is how you get it. And then when you say, like, they not being able to get that data, a lot of times young women and older women will run from that data. A lot of women have men available to give them logical advice and guidance, even if it's not romantically. Logical advice, they skew away from it. I'm telling you, like, it's so funny to me. I have all daughters, right? And I'd be like, yo, it's crazy that my daughter, and I don't even know the level and to extent that she talks to boys. I just know boys exist. She's 14 years old. 14, okay. So it's like, but I'm pretty sure she will go to her mom before me. And that's not smart. And I'm not saying that it's not smart to get advice from your mom. I'm saying that it's not smart to not come to me, because I'm your father and it's my job to protect you, and I'm going to tell you things that you might not want to hear. I'm not one of them dads that's like, all men are going to cheat and hurt you, because that's not the truth. I just always tell my daughters that men ain't perfect, and you see me, I'm not perfect. So it's like, you see the mistakes I make, you see the growth I endure, and as long as you make sure you feel these 3 things, make sure that man makes you feel safe, protected, and wanted, and like loved to whatever that look like, and you don't feel disrespected, unwanted, a burden, he gonna have his shit with him. And it's like, I teach those things because that's her real life experience that she gonna go through. I'm not gonna teach her that, like, just be blindfold, all men want to fuck. Of course all men want to fuck, but that might not be all they want to do. So it's like, a lot of fathers parent from a cock blocking standpoint versus a guidance standpoint, and it's like, I'm trying to guide my daughter to picking a good man, not trying to scare her away from men in general. And so many men do that. So it's like, it is what it is. But the fact of the matter is, going back to the whole the primal phase that the young ladies are in, is like, yeah, but they still have to lean on the wisdom of the teachers that's around them. You can't be guided by Meg Thee Stallion. Not to condemn her. I don't know what the girl does.
No, I'm totally
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, like, just speaking in general. Not to condemn any of the women that do, if that's what they choose for their sense of entertainment, because it's a world for that. But for the people that's fine, it's just like being front of the street. Some kids lived in the hood and did not get caught up. We can't say, like, oh, well, the person that's not in it got to go try to condemn the drug dealers for, no, that world exists, as do the other one. I always tell my young boys when I'm teaching them and mentoring, I say, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do. I'm going to offer you alternatives. So at least you won't be able to say I ain't had no option.
Right.
So I ain't saying that that's right or wrong. I got my personal perspective on how I feel about it, but you might have your own logic. But this is what I think is right.
Right.
And here's an option.
It's just so mainstream. Like our generation of men and women are going to see way more naked bodies.
It's fucked up.
Than our grandparents did.
Yeah.
Like our mindset is skewed.
Yeah, so that's one thing I will say that like kind of add another component to the conversation. Of course, nothing you guys are saying is wrong or not valid. But also a part of me just feels like, of course, it's not really possible. But let's just imagine it. I feel like the issue that kind of just changes all if it's social media somehow is just
absolutely
has more of a boundary. No, has more of a boundary to protect certain things.
Okay,
like. I remember like when I used to play like certain website games like underground, I think whatever site was called, you had to say, are you 18 and go on the site, whatever. So that actually was a real thing. Like PG-13, you can't be a kid, you can't be a 13-year-old go see a rated R movie, technically, whatever.
Right.
So I feel like social media needs some type of way to actually prevent people from being on there, whatever. Because like if the only thing we really are speaking to about women shaking her ass is affecting kids, and I'm not going to really put that on some girl shaking her ass who it isn't her kid. So it's like, that's the only thing where she can't shake her ass freely because kids may see it. It's like, I feel the issue is we need to have more parameters on social media 100%. That just alleviates this possibility.
Absolutely.
Whereas like, you should be able to shake your ass
go
freely, whatever, and have adults see it if they want to see it, whatever. But kids being added to the conversation just kind of pollutes it. Whereas like, when she shook her ass shit, hopefully she not thinking about a kid. But at the same, I think she does have that response that have that right, and that's the social media and the internet's job.
I agree.
But I agree, right? Even though when you said that people won't, it's not possible. Of course, it's not, because the people that's in charge they doing it for the money and other things. So it's not like it's their goal, right? That's not their goal or their agenda. But even when you think about when they did have parental controls when we was younger and they was censoring shit, we did everything we could to find uncensored versions.
But that's healthy. That's healthier. That's not. I won't say it's healthy, but
my mom took CDs from me.
There's a mode of hunting and seeking.
I got you.
Oh my goodness, that's like I'm just sitting right here.
Nah, yeah, you're gonna put that shit. Yeah.
I'm just constantly seeing it so much. I'm gonna become desensitized. At least we had a black curtain and
that's a fact.
Blockbuster.
No, that makes sense.
You feel me? Or whatever.
BT
little
cut was at 3 a.m.
Right,
yeah, like your ass ain't supposed to be up anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm not saying that it's healthy per se.
I get what you're saying. Right. Yeah, it's healthier. Like it's a better. It's like you said, seeking. You had to seek this to see this.
You at least knew on some level that I don't do that outside.
Yeah.
But now we are the ones that's responsible for the generation that's coming after us that is going to feel like they could go outside like that. And I don't want to see any little girl.
But it ties back to accountability.
Mm-hmm.
People are justifying things where they should just be held accountable.
Correct.
People will literally find a way to make something okay that's not okay.
Right.
Which is why I don't partake in comment discussions, because it's like you are literally reaching to validate something that should just be an accountable situation.
Right.
We all have our own responsibility, especially as parents. We have to raise our children, not just watch them grow up.
Exactly.
And people don't understand that. People are just watching their children grow up and not understanding that the example we set is the foundation. And I always say, I'm just trying to raise good people. I can't make my kids perfect. I just want them to not be able to say, my dad didn't teach me certain morals, principles, and values. Whether they have to apply those morals, principles, and values is out of my control. They are their own human beings. They're having their own human experience. But one thing for sure, two things for sure, they're not going to say that I didn't lead by that example and I didn't try to instill it through their susceptible years of being impressionable.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And I feel like as a collective, everybody just running their own race. Our generation think we the kids.
Right.
Everybody just think like their life is just their life. Fuck everybody else's, and it's not what happens next don't matter.
Right.
And it's like you can't live life like that. You think about if our founding fathers, whoever they was, right? I don't know if they was white or black or whatever. Our real fathers and shit was black though. The real fathers. Now, just think about the people that laid the framework and the guidelines for us. Imagine Malcolm and Martin didn't give a fuck.
Come on, now.
Fuck them. Yeah, we living in our today. Nah, they plan for the future, and I feel like our generation don't have no foresight.
Right.
We literally just live for now. Everything is instant.
It really is like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like one of the things that I do in studying feminine masculine energy, like I know that women tend to, shirk away from accountability and tend to be neurotic. And I have a daughter. She just turned 9. So like every single morning we do a gratitude countdown. She must find things to be grateful for in little things, because I already know she finna grow up. Yeah. And I'm spoiling her. Yeah. Right. I can't help it. And I'm like, oh Lord, like I want to mommy her the way I want to mommy her. She's my only child. You know what I'm saying? And I love her dearly. But at the same time, I do want her to be able to respect whatever her man can provide. Because if he's loving her and caring for her, she has to develop an appetite for what he can provide.
Facts.
And if you
That's
don't,
big.
if you cannot develop an appetite for what he can provide and be satisfied with him, then that's not your man.
Yeah, facts.
And it would be better for you to go ahead and walk away from him than try to pull and draw out water from a turnip that he don't got, or blood from a turnip that he doesn't have.
Because then you destroy him in the process.
You destroy him in the process, and to that I will not raise that. Right? Into how she becomes, that's on her. Right? She still has her own self control and desires and things of that nature. But that's one of the reasons why at this young age I compel her to find, there's got to be 10 things you're grateful for that happened within the last 24 hours.
100%. And it's something that I want to pivot to, right?
And there's something you want to say too about the intuition. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, all right, yeah, I'll land with that. But I was just going to say to you, it's something that I want to pivot to. I asked you prior to us pressing record about, women staying out of fear or comfort. You know what I mean? And you said both.
Absolutely.
And I said, no, we didn't even say women, we said people.
Correct.
And then I asked you, I said, do you think that that's just a woman thing?
Got you. So no, I don't think that it's just a woman thing. I think that one of the reasons why the divorce rates are very low for men initiating it is because a man can stay out of fear and a woman can leave out of fear.
I don't think niggas stay out of fear.
So let me explain.
All right, go ahead.
Financially, right? So like financially, right? It might fear of lose,
okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Like his scope of thinking is, I don't want to lose my family.
Okay.
I don't want to lose my funds.
Yeah.
You feel me? I don't want to lose, like I'm gonna have to give her
I
this.
apologize. I agree.
Right. So it might be in his best interest to feel like, you know what, and then he has capacity as well. So men don't necessarily feel pain, emotional pain in the depths that women feel it, right? To the point where she feels like she has to eject herself out the relationship.
Yeah.
He might feel like we could ride this wave out. We got one more year left, right? So and then also think about like, it's imbued in men, right? If I don't want this relationship no more, I can make her leave. I'll make her leave. I ain't finna leave. I
actually heard somebody say this to me the other day.
Yeah.
Like, I just knew I was going out as the bad guy.
Right.
Literally, I was cool with that.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing that was going.
That's it.
And I've done that without having to be the bad guy. But eventually you just make yourself uninteresting, unattractive.
Correct.
Like you just do things to make her feel like she deserves better.
Correct.
And then she
Absolutely.
leave on her high horse.
That's it. Right.
And everybody win.
Absolutely. And if that's
Good God, the witch is going.
right, and if that's been the habit that exists for you even on a subconscious level, you might still operate out of that. So I think that in terms of like when people are staying for comfort or they staying for fear, I think it could be both on.
Yeah, no, I think that was a hell of a breakdown, and yeah, that was good. I won't even speak to it because a lot of what you made, I just want the audience to rest on that.
Yeah.
But to the intuition thing, I was going to say, you said that you now correct me if I'm wrong. I love to put that out there. I don't know if you said women are more intuitive, or because like
I broke it down that I'm a woman. I'm intuitive, so women can be sensing or feeling. Intuitive is sensing.
Yeah, no. And then you said something about seeking safety. So that's what kind of like
the weaker vessel.
No, not even the weaker vessel. Just that's what it hit me when you was like, you actually described why your intuition is strong, and I thought that was dope because I feel like most women just think they got a stronger intuition than men, and I don't think that nobody has this. I think intuition is intuition, but when you attach it to seeking safety, that right there, I'm like, okay, I can see why the sensory factors can be heightened in certain situations. Heightened.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to add to it, because I want to speak to that, because I always like to point out key moments.
Right.
Yeah, where like that right there can save, because so many women just remember, we women, we intuitive, and we intuitive, our intuition. And it's like,
intuitive.
no, that's fear. No, that's trauma. No, that's a trigger. That's not your intuition. But when you say seeking safety, I will say that most women can feel when they're not safe,
100%.
but they confuse that lack of safety. Now, granted, safety in a relationship is key, but not just, I'm being cheated on. And I feel like they only think like, I know when the nigga ain't doing something he ain't supposed to. No, you just been through shit and you just triggered, and this looks familiar, and you're just saying that is your intuition.
100%.
But when you think about, because I have a heightened sense of intuition coming from the hood, which is probably more aware than a person that never grew up in that type of environment. So that's why I use the word heightened. So it wasn't that I really had anything to contrast to it. I just wanted to point it out because I thought that was dope that you made that distinction. You was like we are constantly trying to find 100%. Safety. So I'm like, nah, that was there. Yeah. But it's crazy, man. This conversation, it flew. Like this John,
always.
This John flew. It was a. I don't even feel like it's done. So I know we probably gonna end up doubling back.
Absolutely.
But it was a.
If
It was
you
a,
give us the privilege, you know.
Of course, absolutely. We family.
yeah,
at this
yeah.
point.
I about to say we family.
We have a link between us, so we're family by the link.
100%. And she been putting me through with people that's out in New
Absolutely.
York, and I'm gonna do the same down here in Philly. So this is what it's about. But this was a hell of a conversation. I feel like we barely scratched the surface. I feel like this could have been a 4-hour podcast. If I'm being real with you.
Wolf would have been mad at me though if I kept trying to extend it though. He's
Well, yeah, because we pay by the minute. But
on that note, that's it. All right.
But before I end, we got to make sure we let the audience know, man. Q will cry eventually. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I just want to bring him into his empathetic
I think she can do it
side.
before you can do it. To be honest,
Hey, as long as it happens.
She's seen a
I
little
brought
more
her here.
surgical.
She's seen what?
A little more surgical. A little more surgical to work
She's the extension of
of the plan.
So I'm cool with that.
Right.
And one thing I would say, Q, you said that I'm trying to get you to do the work, but not even digging. You spoke to something. You said I'm aligned. I'm this. I'm that.
I said that episode 1.
Nah, no. The episode 1 was are you in alignment? You said I'm unpacked. I'm aligned. Yeah. Meaning you actually thought about what I said. That's a part of the work.
I've been aligned.
Nah, for you to observe and analyze yourself after a conversation, that's doing the self work. That's the goal. We one step closer to making Q cry.
This whole show was based. Cool. I'll let it breathe.
I'm gonna get Q a therapist. I'm gonna get Q a therapist. This whole time I've been filming, and my brain has been this way. All right, cool. But all in all, man, hopefully y'all enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this conversation. Absolutely. I feel like it was so many pivotal moments. I be coming into these things saying we not gonna have a deep discussion. We just gonna talk about our week. And before I can even talk about my week, Q said, so yeah, talk about the women and the lack of
and the accountability.
And I wasn't even mentally even prepared for that question, but
and it flows.
It's fine because I'll talk about it next time. That's what I love. I love this podcast space because I feel like whatever we don't get this time, we can get next time. It's not like this is our only opportunity. Right. So let's continue to add value. Absolutely. Let's continue to be great. I'll let you close out with where they can find you and all the good things.
Absolutely. So I'm Ask Miss Cassandra. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you guys for having me.
Yes.
You can find me on Instagram. That's Ask Miss MS Cassandra CASSANDRA. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok.
Make sure you follow her. She got some profound clips. Very well spoken. She speaks and coaches men.
I do.
And she's one of the ladies whose platform where I'm watching and I'm not turning it off because I'm like, she ain't talking. It's like she actually says things that resonate, and I could appreciate that. Feeling like we are colleagues of doing this work.
No, really, we are. We're definitely in sync for sure.
Yeah, so I appreciate that.
And also, I can tell just by hearing her speak today that I think a difference between that and like many people in like the content creator space is you have an actual professional background versus a content creator background, and you kind of get your.
It's not a shtick.
Yeah, you get your.
It's my life's work.
Leverage from the followers. No, you had work and then professionalism that entered into content space. So I can see. I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that most, like you said, most people speak from experience, but not the experience of objectivity and study and observation, but more so just like what they went through, and then they try to put the whole world
project it,
like but again, man, we're gonna do this again. You know what I mean? Y'all got her word for it. She said she coming back.
Absolutely.
Y'all got our word. We bringing it back. And yeah, thank y'all for tuning into this episode of the Wolf Has Spoken podcast. Yes. Stay with us as we continue to work, do the work as we continue to grow. You're a person, you out there playing for the week. You know what I mean? You watching this is a Monday. You should have been playing for the week, playing for next week. Get in front of it. Write down your goals. Get your gratitude list going. One good book that focuses on gratitude is called The Magic. It got a 30-day practice by Rhonda Byrne. It's one of my favorite books.
Really?
She's the author of The Secret. She's one of my favorite books. I do it often. It's like to get through those 30 days is a challenge, but when you do it, you feel grateful in a different sense. You notice things that you overlooked, and ultimately just makes you a better person. And it gives you that framework to follow, so you're not just winging it. You know what I mean? So I think I should check that book out. Also check out my books, The Art of Accountability and Cheating is Not Cheating. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at WolfWSC, TikTok at WolfWSC, Twitter at WolfWSC_ Christian Mingle. I disabled it because I'm in a relationship. No, I'm joking. And my guy Q, tell them where they can follow you at, Brody.
Yes, sir. Can I get my recommendations off first?
My fault, I forgot, bro. He did this. He
Yeah,
like
my fault. Yeah, about a minute. My bad.
about a minute.
$10 more. $10 more. But no, I actually rewatched the old comedy from years ago. I thought it was real relevant and cool to watch. To rewatch it. Head of State. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the movie's still funny, and it was just cool to see the political conversations we're having that's literally still relevant today, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a cool rewatch. And also I watched something called that's not important. Yeah, Head of State though. If you ain't seen it, watch that. Shout out to Chris Rock and Bernie Mac. Cool comedy and relevant information about this country being fucked up and fucking over, poor people.
So many back in the day movies be like that.
And follow me, Right on Q Live, right as in the right side on QUE. Never just a letter. Don't be disrespectful. Right on Q Live. That's on everything.
And we're just going to end it on that note. We see y'all next week, man. Hopefully y'all took something from this episode. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to do the work.
Always.
We out. The Wolf has spoken.
Peace.
Yes, sir.